Today I'm taking you guys down the coolest valley that I know of in all of PNG. I've flown over most of PNG, and this is by far the coolest place. If dinosaurs were living today, this is where they would live for sure. I've got to move some cargo around real quick. For my plane, I'm already all ready to go. I got ready earlier this morning. We were just waiting on weather to clear. It's a half hour to the other side of East New Britain, to Jackanaw Bay. So let's get going. Taking off with like a 15-knot tailwind.
Oh, and I forgot to mention, I am meeting our helicopter out there. That's what all this stuff is for. There's fuel back here, and he's going to be doing some shuttles. I just had to drop it off, and then I'm back to Goroka today, and I'm done with the day. So, let's get going after that excitement. Alright, make sure our fuel's on. NG's stabilized at 20. Oil pressure's coming in as normal, and ITT peaks out at 673. I'm sure the Air New Guinea guy had some good reasons on taking off the tailwind, or maybe he just was in a hurry because he didn't want to have to make a left-hand turn to get out of here. Either way, that wasn't a lot of margin. Our margin, I think, is 75% of the runway. When you use 75% of the runway, it's kind of an uncomfortable feel, so I'm sure he was having a little bit of an uncomfortable feel with 600 feet left on the runway. Well, our goal is to head out at 7,000. I need that to be able to get over top of these mountains that I'm planning to show you guys, because it is like literally the most incredible valley I've ever seen. It's just like a couple thousand feet down. Just really, really cool. All stations, Hoskins 1271, November Tango Kilo, taxiing runway 12 for departure to the east. All stations, Hoskins. Mars 8861, November Tango Kilo, taxi.
November Tango Kilo, what's you get?
Good morning, November Tango Kilo, taxi Hoskins, Jackanaw Bay, 1 POB.
November Tango Kilo, copy taxi. No additional for traffic to Alpha Tango Bravo.
November Kilo. Okay, before we get on the runway, let's just go through our buddy check real quick, make sure we've got all of our critical items for takeoff. Fuel cap selectors are good, our controls are
Let's be 171 Alpha Tango Bravo.
Our flaps set at 20, trims are set. We'll verify those flaps in just a second. We are going to be taking off at 62 knots. Let me start my iPad here so you guys can follow along. If you guys are flight simmers, you want to do the same flight, I'll post it on my Patreon page for you guys under the commercial tier. That way you guys can fly this exact same valley yourself in your home sims. Alright, we've got verified 20 degrees. Trim and abort, we will be airborne by the 1500 foot marker, or we'll stop on the runway after takeoff, pitching for 85, considering EPL. Considering feather, if we have to feather, cut off, pull off, and shut off. Emergencies, masters, crack my door. Alright, take igniters on. That was my only traffic. Clear on that end. Ignition condition, flaps 20, fuel and harnesses. Checklist is complete. All stations, Hoskins 1271, November Tango Echo. Rolling runway 12, outbound track 090 on climb 7000. All stations, Hoskins. 34 degrees, so 1520 on the torque. Rotate 62. There's our torque is set. ITT, we're looking for around 720. We got a little bit more. Here's 50 continuing. Here's 720. And rotate. So this is a windy season for Hoskins. You can see that green area right there, that's basically a venturi. So all the wind comes from the south side of the island this time of year, speeds up, and then gets to be like, so I had 2 knots indicated, but it was probably 10 to 12 knots on takeoff. It's 13 knots right now. Let's see what it is. That's at 500 feet. Let's see what it is at around 1,500 feet. I'm guessing by the afternoon, it's probably going to be around 40 knots. Let's do our engine inlet and igniters. We'll leave our lights on just for a little bit till we get out of this immediate area. I don't think any other traffic's coming in today. People are always worried. Just to give you an idea of how many airplanes are flying in all of PNG at any given time is like 30 airplanes. And that's the size of California. Actually bigger than California with this whole island involved. It's like 2 Californias, 30 airplanes. Not that much. But let's head over to the Flight Span app. Let's let it find itself first so I can give Moresby a call. Let's do heading mode for autopilot and pitch for the climb, maybe around 115 knots. I'm not in any hurry today. Moresby 8861, November Tango Kilo, departure. November Tango Kilo departed Hoskins at time 14, tracking 094 on climb not above 7,000, estimating Jackanaw Bay 45.
November Tango Kilo, about 7,000 at a QNH 1011.
1011, November Tango Kilo. You can see we've got West New Britain over here, East New Britain's kind of starting where I am going that way, and the whole island's only 50 miles wide roughly. So the whole south side of the island, this is where all the weather is this time of year, and it bleeds up into about halfway through the island. And pretty much any of our flights out here in the islands are to the other side of the island. So it's going to be really crummy weather all year round, regardless of where you're going. It's either going to be crummy leaving Hoskins or going to the other side. But this other side, the south side, the weather stays really poor and very low to the ground all day long. So if it's going to be really bad in the morning, it's usually just really bad all day long, and it's not even worth trying to even get over there. With the airplane, I can go through clouds. Our helicopter cannot. And there's no point in me doing this flight if he can't make it over there. So he left about 15 minutes before me, right around 9. I took off at 9:15. We should be getting to Jackanaw Bay pretty close to the same. I should beat him by a few minutes so I can start unloading his stuff. He's going to use that big drum of fuel back here, fill up his, and then take these propane bottles you saw me loading underneath up to another location that's only accessible by helicopter. But let me text the helicopter, let him know what time I'm going to be getting there. I think he is in November Tango Mike, I believe. So let's go aircraft, November Tango Mike, ETA 9:45. Okay, so where this little mountain is right here, it says terrain is at 6,000, okay? But if you look at the chart, it says 3,900 feet. That's how unreliable some of these charts here in Papua New Guinea are. They will kill you if you try to go fly through clouds at 3,900 feet. You will run into the mountain. So on our instrument chart that I made up, I changed it to the actual at 6230, and that's what it actually is. But right at that location is where we are going to start our flight down this valley right here, all the way out to the coast, and then we'll fly up the coast to Jackanaw Bay. Depending on the weather, if it's really cloudy in that area, then I probably won't go too low into the valley, because once you're in there, you're in there. I mean, they've got 2,000-foot walls on either side. It's pretty wide. I wouldn't say that wide. 1.5 miles wide, maybe 2 miles wide at the top, but depending how low you go, there's no getting in and out of there. So I don't want to get myself down in there and then find out that I've got clouds along my route. So we'll do it as fun and as safe as we can today. And now that we're level off here, 7,000, bring our torque all the way back down to 1250 with getting a little bit of left rudder pressure and as we're pulling the power. There we go. Let's let it just settle there for a second. Before we get to where we want to go, let's bring open the strip chart because this is a really good time to go over it because not much is going on. Make sure that it is Jackanaw Bay. It's a two-way runway. Touchdown elevation is 200 feet, so it's right on the coast. And it's very long, 1,600 meters long. We're going to be coming in from this direction here, and probably what I'll do is I'll fly over this way and then come back over here so I can make sure that there's nobody on the runway, or at least they can hear my airplane. It's fairly quiet, so if you just jump into a downwind, they might not even hear you. That way we'll come out here and then just do a 180 back in and land. That way we could just coast up to the parking bay at the end. All right, well, okay, so there's looking like there's quite a few clouds up here right on my direct track. I'm at 7,000, it's at 6,200. We'll go all the way up there and just see the clouds are really low to the tops of the ridges. So I'm hoping that they don't look that full right here in the valley. I'm hoping that they'll split open right as the valley opens up on the other side so that we can drop down in there. Okay, it starts right there, that light spot, I believe. We're going to do heady mode and make just a few degree change. Let's see, yeah, it is about a half a mile off of my actual direct track. I think the ridge that I'm barely seeing down there is my ridge, because I'm at 7,000, it's 1,000 feet lower. So the one straight ahead of me is the one I'm telling you guys about. If you were just to go off of what the chart says, it would kill you if you were going into clouds. So when we made up all of our IFR charts years ago, you can see all these black lines all through here. These are all ones that these are all routes that we previously flew to double, triple check to make sure that they were safe, these altitudes that we've got listed here. I'm going to take a chance because I am starting to see a little bit of the ridge line. I'm going to go down to, I think it said it's around 6,300 feet to get in there. Worst case is I just do one loop and get right back over it, but we'll give it a try. I'm going to keep my speed up now in case it's like, yeah, that's not going to work. Then I can just do a 180 with my speed and climb right back up really fast. I mean, I see the ridge on this side, but not seeing great definition on the other side. Let's come over here. Because we've got 21 knots and it's increasing, I'm gonna climb up and see if I can maybe see a hole on the other side. I don't want to do a ridge crossing at just like 100 feet above the trees with 21 knots in the wrong direction, not favoring me. Because I'm not seeing it completely open on the other side. I was seeing a lot of low clouds through there. I've got 23 knots now, so we'll get over this cloud and see if there's any open holes that we can just drop right back down, but it's just not worth, for the sake of this video, to scrape across some trees with 23 knots in the wrong direction for a really low ridge crossing. Alright, let's do map terrain. That's not really helping me out. I kind of need to go to the left a little bit for where I need to go get into the valley. Alright, right here is where I would need to get in, and I am seeing a little bit of opening holes right there, but not enough for me to commit myself unless I knew 100% it was open underneath. Yeah, I am seeing some... Okay, no, now I'm seeing all the way down to the coast through there, but I don't know if I can... I don't think I can get down into the valley, but I think I can get all the way through this little area right here, though. Let's go prop forward. 10 degrees of flaps. Now this right here is where I wanted to get down, but I don't think it's gonna work. We've got 20 degrees of flaps. This hole I can see all the way down to the coastline. I'm gonna go ahead and pull my power. Let's go full flaps for now. Let's go 20 degrees of flaps, get my power back in a little bit. Well, I don't think I'm gonna be able to fly down this valley because I think I'm directly over top. Yeah, I am directly over top of a portion of it.
Beam Dacno 53, request traffic up to 100 right of track, cancel left of track.
We'll just wiggle our way through this hole right here. Yeah, no, this is the very beginning of it. I do remember all of this.
Caution,
shelf.
terrain.
Yes, thank you.
Caution, terrain.
There we go. It is open. Let's go full flaps again. All right, this is it.
Traffic 100 nautical miles right of track, off number 5.
Look how amazing this valley is. Looks clear all the way out there, really nice. So 19 knots of headwind right here. We aren't gonna go too low. I'm gonna keep my speeds up. Yeah, that valley with that river down below, absolutely incredible. Stay off here to the left side so we have a lot of space to turn if we need to. All right, now the winds are slowing down, so let's go ahead and get our flaps out. Bring our prop back to cruise.
Pull up 500.
The first time I flew this, I actually flew it much higher just to verify that you can actually fly all the way down without any issues. I don't recommend going down and flying a valley if you've never flown over it, sighted it out, so don't just see what I'm doing and go, okay, that looks like fun, I'm gonna go try to do that. Make sure you do due diligence and making sure that the valley is for sure gonna get you where you wanna go and you're not gonna get yourself up into a false canyon where you fly up the wrong valley that you think that you're going and then run out of space and can't turn back around. That's happened many times to a lot of people and they don't live to tell about it. Winds have died down to 0 knots. That's why I've got down lower, just if you're wondering.
500.
And look at this waterfall down in here. I mean, these things are just so spectacular. And this corner right here is a really tight corner. And really pretty. All stations, Jackanaw Bay 1271, Kodiak November Tango Kilo 10 miles to the west, 2000 will be circuit overhead 48, Jackanaw Bay. These are oil palms if you're wondering. I think what I'm going to do is just fly overhead into a right-hand pattern instead. That way I can fly directly over the whole field. All stations, Jackanaw Bay 1271, November Tango Kilo, joining the circuit. Jackanaw Bay will be flying overhead for a right downwind, 34. Mooresby at 861, November Tango Kilo, in the circuit, Jackanaw Bay, report after correction, cancel SAR. Mooresby at 861, November Tango Kilo.
Terminated.
November Kilo. All right, I caught the tail end of her transmission that it was terminated. All right, I'm gonna do a screenshot of this. I'm gonna post this on my Patreon page, but I'm gonna make it free for everybody. If you're a flight simmer and you wanna fly that same valley, I'll leave a link down below where you guys can go get the charts and things like that so you guys can fly it. I think I've got like 100 flights on my Patreon page, so if you're into that kind of stuff, that's a really good place to start. And if you don't even know how to fly, I have a course on teaching you how to fly the Kodiak online as well. Okay, don't see anybody. Looks like it's fairly cut. Windsock shows absolutely nothing. 10 degrees, prop forward. Go through our buddy checklist. That's all good. Our VREF today, I forgot to check that. Landing performance, 72. Lights and inlet. 20 degrees of flaps. If you go around, just power up, 20 degrees, straight ahead. Prop end harnesses. All station Jackanow Bay, November Kilo in the circuit, Jackanow Bay. We're gonna land probably about halfway down the runway. There's absolutely no point in landing this far into the runway because it's like a mile long at least. 3 knots fast. Let's go full flaps. Checklist is complete. Slowing to 72 knots.
500.
3 knots of headwind. Runway is clear. Now it looks a little bit wet. I'm gonna stay out from the grass. Oh, it's cut really nice. Below idle. It is slippery. I can feel it. I'm going to try to shoot a time lapse back to Goroka. It's a 2 hour and 10-minute flight. Between my two cameras, we're going to see. I think there's going to be about a 15-minute section in between. Oh, now I just got the plane all nasty. Tried to swerve it, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to do the whole time lapse, but we'll see.